Welcome to this edition of the Mayor's Report for Livermore. I'm your host, Splen Splendorio. Joining me today is Mayor John Marchand from, of course, the beautiful city of Livermore. John, I am excited for Mayor's Choice because you and I chatted a little bit. This is exciting. One of the stories that you're going to mention is, it should touch everybody's heart.
It really is remarkable, and this is some of the fun stuff that happens in Livermore. We're still a small town, and the community still knows each other, interacts. So this was the story of Lieutenant Thomas Kelly, and Lieutenant Kelly was born in Livermore. It was 1923. Graduated from Livermore High School. Go Cowboys! And in World War II, he enlisted. And he was a bombardier in the Army Air Corps. Now, this was before the Air Force split off. It was part of the Army. And so he was a bombardier with the Army Air Corps and was involved in the Pacific Campaign. And their mission, by the way, his plane was a B-24 bomber, and it was named Heaven Can Wait. And they had an angel painted on the nose of the plane, and it was Heaven Can Wait. And his job was supposed to take out an anti-aircraft facility in Papua New Guinea. And they were flying on the bombing run, and his plane was shot down. It landed, it crashed in Hansa Bay. And that's where the story ended for over 70 years. And it was Memorial Day 2013. One of his cousins started going onto the internet and doing some research to find out more about his cousin. And they got some eyewitnesses, and as they got deeper and deeper, they were able to pinpoint where they believed the exact location that his plane went down. So they contacted this organization called Project Recover, and whose job is to find these wrecks and hopefully, if possible, repatriate the remains of the crew members. So they started to look, and because they had such precise information, they were able to pinpoint where they thought it was, and they actually went out with sonar and remote operating vehicles underwater, and they located the Heaven Can Wait on Good Friday on 2018. So we had a service at St. Michael's Cemetery where his headstone is, and it has a B-24 engraved on the headstone. Well, because it was Memorial Day, we had the Collins Foundation out here in Livermore, and they did a B-24 flyover during his ceremony where we commemorated the fact that they found the plane. We never imagined that, fast forward 7 years, that the story continued. And because the information was so precise, it appeared that while some of the crew members were lost before the plane crashed, they actually exited the plane before it hit the water, there was an excellent chance, because the plane was fairly intact, that they would be able to do a recovery effort. So it was at 213 feet underwater. Well, I don't know if you scuba dive, but that's farther than you can scuba dive. So they actually had to spend close to 2 weeks acclimating to the pressure so that they could then go out into the water to try to recover the remains. And that's exactly what they did. And Dr. Altus, who was the cousin that did a lot of the initial research, said at his memorial service that they were really dependent upon the kindness and the generosity of strangers. So these strangers went down at depth, and they were able to recover the remains of 4 of the crew members. And last year, 2024, they positively identified the remains of Lieutenant Kelly. So then the wheels start turning. And on Memorial Day, the day before Memorial Day, Lieutenant Kelly came home. They brought his remains and full military escort, and I was honored to participate in the ceremony at here in Livermore, where he lie in repose, and then the next day they had the burial at St. Michael's Cemetery, where his stone has been sitting for decades. And so it was fitting that on Memorial Day, and there was a piper there, and they played Amazing Grace. And one of the lyrics in Amazing Grace was, "I once was lost, but now I'm found." And for over 70 years, the Heaven Can Wait and Thomas Kelly were lost, and now they're found, and he's back home. But there's more to the story. It turns out that the military presented the family with a flag then when he was killed, and the father erected a flagpole in front of the house, and then every day he would put the flag up and take it down in the evening. Well, years go by. It turned out an olive tree eventually knocked the flagpole over, and the house had been bought and sold twice since then. So, with the notoriety of Lieutenant Kelly coming home, the family that lives in the house now found the flag, and they returned the flag to the Kelly family on the Saturday before his remains came home. And it's the original flag. It had 48 stars on it.
Oh, wow, amazing.
So the family has been reunited with the flag that commemorated his death.
The family.
Yeah, and they were all there were cousins there. His sister was there, and small weird world. They had representatives, the 320th Squadron, that Lieutenant Kelly was part of. So they sent 3 members, and the squadron is now in Wyoming. So I'm going through the program, and the commander of the squadron is a gentleman whose last name is Valdivia. My wife used to work with his mother. We were there at his birth.
Oh,
so I turned around, I look at the audience, Michael. So again, it's bringing the community, bringing families together, and long lost friends. So it was an amazing story.
John, thanks for sharing. That's just an amazing story. Thanks for sharing.
Absolutely. Well, it's Livermore. It's what Livermore's about. It's about family and about service. And we held the service at the Memorial Day ceremony at Stockman Park. And that's what Stockman Park is about. It's about the stockmen that founded our community and the veterans of Livermore, Pleasanton, and Murray Township. And certainly Lieutenant Kelly was one of those.
All right, John, we took a lot of time. Anything else you have on Mayor?
That's it. That was remarkable.
Well, and unfortunately, we're going to spend a lot of time on your State of the City. You held it. It was recorded by TV30, and our viewers can watch it either streaming on tv30.org or right here on TV30. But let's talk a little bit about the themes. You did a great job. Tell us what the themes were.
The themes were, as somebody told me afterward, your State of the City address was a celebration of Livermore. And that's really what I wanted it to be, because Livermore, we get so busy in all of our stuff doing everything that we forget just what a remarkable community we live in. I opened with Livermorium, and then Fusion Ignition, and El Capitan, which is now the fastest supercomputer in the world. And Tuolumne is the 10th fastest. And all of those are right here in Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory and in Livermore. Then I went into our mission, the mission statement of the city, because we know what it is, but it's about focusing on the high quality of life for our residents. And that's what we strive for every single day, is the quality of life. And then the values, and our values are wrapped around excellence, providing excellent service, an excellent experience within the city of Livermore, and that helps create that quality of life. And it's that commitment that we have of all of the people that work here for the city, and make it that remarkable place. got into the strategic plan. And we have 5 pillars: a community that thrives, an economy that prospers. Our general fund budget is about $150 million. Ironically, there are cities here in the Bay Area that is their structural deficit. So their deficit is more than my entire general fund. But that's, I think it's a testament to how remarkable our community and our city is being run. We have, one of the things I also touched on was, are people getting value for that? And yeah, they are. And the way I defined that is looking at the number of employees per 1,000 population. And in Livermore, there's about 1/2 of an employee per 1,000 population. In Berkeley, they have 4 times as many employees per 1,000 population. They have 2 employees per 1,000. San Francisco is also a county, they had 5. So absolutely, we are very, very good stewards of the public's money. And again, that shows the commitment that we have to run an efficient organization.
Now, John, we're gonna take a short break, but we're gonna jump back into your State of the City address right after this short break on the Mayor's Report for Livermore. Welcome back to this edition of the Mayor's Report for Livermore. We're here talking with Mayor John Marchand. Welcome back, John.
Good to be back.
All right, let's talk a lot more about your State of the City address, which is going to be streaming here on tv30.org and also right here on TV30. Let's talk about a few more topics that you highlighted for the audience a while back.
Well, sure. So what I found astonishing is the median income for Livermore is $153,000. That's astonishing. But again, that speaks to the quality of life that we have. The median home value is $1.22 million, and we got a population of about 85,000. So it's a great community. Show how busy our public safety is. There were 23,000 911 calls, over 55,000 calls for service for the police department. There were almost 10,000 calls for fire service. I'm always amused when people say, want to go back to a volunteer fire department. Yeah, 10,000 calls? I don't think so. But most of those are medical calls. Only about 3% are fire calls. So we've got about 1,500 units in the Isabel Neighborhood Specific Plan in the pipeline. And also, we have acquired hundreds of acres of open space in the last year. And those pieces of open space are all the way around in the fringes of the city so that we can protect the voter-approved urban growth boundary and prevent leapfrog development and sprawl. But those are strategically located where we can maximize the benefit of having control over those lands. A couple other things, the parking garage, that's going to be done probably by the fall of this year. You can see
L Street Garage in downtown.
The L Street Garage. They're putting up the brick fascia right now, so that's going to be probably done this fall. Blacksmith Square, we're looking to have completed at the end of this year. And the Flagpole Plaza should be completed by August. And the downtown is just going to rock. We've got Meadowlark Dairy coming in in Livermore, California, which I thought was rather clever, the sign. So a lot of great things that are happening throughout the community. And it was fun to just be able to highlight that. I have a lot of fun with the talk, and if people come to TV30 to watch it, they'll see and hopefully see how much I enjoy doing that.
Yeah, and talk about the quality of life that you enjoy in Livermore.
That's right.
All right, John, the city recently conducted a community survey, right? Tell our viewers, why does it conduct that survey, and how often does it usually happen?
Well, we do it every 2 years, and we used to do it around the elections. And but then we found that there was a lot of, because there was so much publicity around the election time, that we were concerned that it was going to taint the results. So now we conduct it after the election, but still, while we're working on the budget, and we still use that information. So one of the things that we found out in the survey was that only 17% of the public has actually attended a meeting, and that only 13% have actually contacted a council member with a question or comment. So 13%, so they obviously expect us to be clairvoyant and figure out what they want, because they're not telling us. They're not coming to the meetings. And that's one of the reasons we do this study, is to find out what we're doing right, what we're not doing right, what the community wants us to do. And so one of the things that we found is that 95% of the people believe Livermore is a great place to live. And 92% would recommend it to other people. And I think it comes down to not just habitability, but livability. Is this a place where people want to live? And that's what we found in the survey, was that people really do want to live here. And those are things based on education, income, the safety in the downtown. 96% of the people feel safe in the downtown and feel safe in their neighborhoods. So, and that's why over half of our budget goes to public safety, because we understand how important it is that people live and feel that they're safe in their community.
Yeah, John, when I went through the survey summary, it talked a lot about livability, and I think you probably defined it here. Would you like to live here, and would you like to stay living here? Is that pretty much what the definition is they're trying to get to?
Yeah, people, they want to live here. It's not. It's the quality of life, and again, as I mentioned at the very, very beginning, it comes down to quality of life, and that's what is so important for people, and that sense of livability. It comes down to education, the area around us, public safety. All of those received very high responses, very excellent responses from the community and for those that were polled. And this is a very scientific poll. I mean, we sent over 3,000 requests for people to respond. And they did. And the thing is most people, they're going to complain. So the fact that 95% of the people agreed that it's a great place to be, I think it's very remarkable. You had 75% of the people thought we had excellent services, as compared to, I believe it was 27% of the federal government thought that they did a good job. And over 3/4 of the people think that we're doing a good job. So that's why we continue to do this survey. It validates the fact that our #1 priority is public safety, and the things that we as a city have control over, that's what makes a real difference.
Yeah, there's a fellow I used to sit on a board with who said that all feedback is a gift, and I think that this is your gift, that if only a small minority of people actually interact with you and your fellow council members, this is maybe the only way you'll ever get any feedback from your residents.
Well, if only 13% of the people are contacting us, obviously we're doing something right, because 97% or 87% of the people think we're going in the right direction and don't see a need for a course correction. But it goes back to what I've said, is that Livermore used to be a place that people drove through, and now it's a place where people come to. This is where they want to be. So we'll keep doing the survey, because I think that's remarkable.
Great.
That's what keeps our community fun, and that's why I love representing it.
Right. Thank you, John. Let's talk about a Juneteenth celebration.
Sure.
Livermore has had it for years. And let's talk about what celebrations or remembrances will be happening in Livermore.
Well, it goes back to Major General Gordon Granger, and it was on June 19th in 1865 that the word finally got to Texas that there was this thing called the Emancipation Proclamation, and Major General Granger was there to enforce it and inform the slaves that they were free. So that is the celebration of when Texas learned of the Emancipation Proclamation 2 years later after it had been given. So it's the Livermore Valley Arts and the Tri-Valley for Black Lives will host the 4th annual Juneteenth celebration in our downtown, recognizing the end of slavery and honoring the African-American heritage and culture that we enjoy here. It takes place Saturday, June 21st from 10 to 2. It's going to be at the Shea Plaza in front of the Bankhead Theater in downtown Livermore. Family-free, it's a family-friendly and free celebration. Live music, African drumming, dancing, storytelling. Faith Alfer is going to be there. She's going to be the MC for the event, and she's going to have a special storytelling hour starting at 3 o'clock in front of the Bankhead and actually in the lobby. And that's also free and open to the public. It's also going to have a ticketed event at the Bankhead Theater. It's the Oakland Interfaith Gospel Choir, which is going to be at the Bankhead Theater that night. Of course, by their name, it's powerful gospel and spiritual music. And it's a chance to reflect on our history and recommit to justice and inclusion and unity here in Livermore and beyond as well.
Oh, thank you, John. Thank you for mentioning Faith. You know, those of us know her know how gracious she is and how joyous she is, and it's always entertaining to be around her.
She's great. No, she's one of those wonderful icons in the city.
That's right.
That you see her, you have a chance to talk with her, and you just come away feeling good. You feel good about the community. Right. You feel good about yourself.
All right, let's finish up with any upcoming events that you'd like to highlight for our viewers.
Well, on June 26th, in town, there's going to be the police department is going to be carrying the torch for the Special Olympics, the Flame of Hope. It's going to go through town. They've been a long-time supporter, and it's going to start at the Nob Hill parking lot at 919 East Stanley Boulevard. It's over on the Taco Bell side, same side as Hanabishi. And that's going to start at 12:15. And they're going to make their way down East Stanley Boulevard to 1st Street, Livermore Avenue, and then down to the police department. So that's come there and cheer them on. And of course, we also have our citywide garage sale that's coming up also on June 21st. So they can. This is hosted by Livermore Sanitation. So if you notify and sign up by June 11th. You can get your name and address in the publication that comes out in an ad in the Independent. And the great thing about this is by selling these things, they don't end up in the landfill. And so that's the motivation for Livermore Sanitation to keep these things out of the landfill and hopefully repurpose them and give new life to old stuff.
Well, thank you so much, John. As usual, chock full of information and all the wonderful events happening in Livermore.
Pleasure.
And thank you for joining us and watching this edition of the Mayor's Report for Livermore. Join us for the next episode of the Mayor's Report right here on Tri-Valley TV. I'm Splendorio. Thank you so much for joining us.